Chapter 25. Childish. Breakfast. Yoon POV. Checking myself in the mirror, the last time I stepped towards the door. These old sliding doors and the smell of heritage and tradition can fool anybody into thinking escaping will be as easy as walking out from here. I smiled mockingly. I hope this was true, at least it reduced my chances of getting caught. We never think, while accepting technology, there can be disadvantages of same. I never liked technology, actually, old school, that's what Kai used to call me. In a way, nature was always a part of my life, and this kingdom of technology, development, and concrete is spreading like an infection around the wood, feasting on them for selfish reasons. Stepping out of the room, I inhaled the sweet smell of wood because of the old but well-maintained furniture, which reminds me of a trip to the forest last year. Unlike now, at that time those woods, leaves and trees spoke about freedom and happiness, but now it's the biggest wall between me and freedom, the main reason for my sorrow. Strange how the same thing can change its role according to situations. Even things change, and we expect people to be the same, I murmured, remembering the old Taewang, who can do anything to bring a smile on my face, who wants to take every pain from my life, not the one who goes off the road to make my life a bit more painful. These days people change color faster than a chameleon. Aren't you the one who forced him to change color? I sigh annoyingly. These days I can't even curse him without being countered by my inner self. My guilt was reduced by all those things that I went through all this time. My suffering, my tears and pain, everything burns the guilt bit by bit. His every threat and anger make me free from the foundation of sin I did. Didn't I repent enough? Huffing disappointedly with the lack of an answer, I walked down the stairs, looking at guards working like always. I wonder why I am the only female in the house. It would be so much easier to settle here when I am not surrounded by countless guards who are as afraid to glance at me as I am of staying with them. The only thing which is keeping me sane around all these muscular men who can do anything to me if they want is their master. Somehow Taewang's possessiveness suffocates me and helps me to breathe safely at the same time. On one hand, I am glad no one will ever dare to harm me. On the other, scared that no one will be able to save me if he decides to harm me. Sliding the dreadful thought in this beautiful morning, I walked towards the kitchen. Yes, there can be beautiful moments in the cage too, when the person who owns you isn't around. I found myself alone in bed this morning, not that I am complaining, but it felt quite strange that he left without informing me. But it's better in a way, I need some space for myself. The lectures and then homework eat up most of the day, and at the end of the day, Taewang sticks with me like an ant with sugar. Smiling widely because of the temporary freedom, I entered the kitchen to keep my part of the deal. No matter how bad Taewang is, he did what he said, and being the love of a true businessman, I will never back off now. My heart raced as I remembered all the lessons Kai taught me, his every secret of business, every trick of how he convinced investors, everything a book can never teach me. To rule the market, you have to make every word true that escapes from your mouth. His words when he fell sick, but worked the whole night to fulfill his commitment. Business grows from trust. Words should be the biggest contract, my love. I will never let you down, my love. I smiled thinking about his reactions when I will tell him I still remember his every word after years. His every lesson on how to build a business. He is an inspiration to me. He built a company from scratch, and he worked day-night for where he is. But soon my smile dropped, my blooming heart died as flowers die in winter when I saw the person in front of me. I was so happy thinking I would get some space today, but I guess God doesn't want to see me happy. As he sent the devil himself in the middle of the kitchen, where only he knows what Taewang is doing. Good morning, baby. The joyful voice of the devil brought me back as I looked at him. He is in a good mood today. Better, now I just want him to get lost somewhere in this mansion so I can cook something peacefully. What are you doing here? I asked, searching for a few vegetables from the counter. Is that how you wish your husband? I halted my actions when my mind registered his words. My fingers curled around the onion I was holding. Is this how you act around your wife? Threatening her? Scaring her? I shushed my mind. I don't know what's happening nowadays to me. Some days all I wish is to never be his wife, while other days I wanted him to treat me like one. Silencing the battle inside me, I looked at him to realize he had been staring at me the whole time. "Good morning," I said, calming my heart, which was eager to spit fire on his question. I folded my hands, looking at him with the same intensity. "Now tell me, what are you doing here?" He smiled wider than before and turned towards the bowl where he is making a batter. His lips formed a rectangle, showing his bright teeth and even brighter mood. "Making breakfast for my wife," he said, turning his whole attention to his work again. "But I am supposed to make breakfast today?" I asked, irritated with the idea of him accompanying me and ruining my plan of having some me time. "Yes," he said in such an unbothered way, not knowing how much his presence is bothering me. "Then why are you making?" I said, holding the last string of my patience. "If you can make breakfast for me, why can't I?" He glanced at me with a smile which didn't disappear from the moment I looked at him. He looked so excited, like he is cooking first time for me. "Wouldn't it be a wonderful moment when we make breakfast together?" I shook my head annoyingly. "Then you only make." Placing the onion on the counter, I turned my heel to find some peace in this hell. But before I could take a step, a tight, cold grip stopped me as chills ran down my spine. I am not sure, but it won't be the best news if I ruined his mood. Another hand was placed on my shoulder a bit lightly as he turned me slowly while my hands were sweating and I was waiting for his angry warning for not giving him the attention he thinks he deserves. "But I want to eat what you will make from these beautiful hands," he said, pecking my hands, which he is now holding softly. But I tried to protest about what I don't know. Or maybe I have to share with Hyung how I helped you with the question. I widened my eyes, remembering the deal which slipped from my mind. His tone is neither dark nor serious, but he is Kim Taewang. He can do anything. Smiling at my reaction, he again pecks my hands before turning his attention to the work. Knowing I don't have any choice, I return to the onion which I abandoned a few moments ago. Gathering other vegetables, I placed them and stood beside Taewang at the end of the counter, trying to make as much space between us as I could, while he was humming happily as his smile is wider than before. Closing my eyes, I took a deep breath, calming down, but still my mind shoved me deep into the rivers of memories. Memories of me doing experiments with food whose victims used to be Dad and Kai. Memories of me cooking for Kai at midnight when he returned from work. Inhaling a heavy breath, I forced myself to be in present. It's the first time I am cooking in this place, well, the first time when I'm sure it won't turn into a horrible disaster. Shaking my head and keeping my thoughts in check, I looked around the kitchen where the devil is my companion for the thing which I was restricted from touching for years. A thing that is so helpful for you to make a meal while the same sharpness is capable of taking your life. Spotting the wooden knife, I bent a bit hesitantly near Taewang to grab the sharp object. Maintaining the distance, I huffed unconsciously, wiping the sweat from my forehead like I had been working here for hours. I sliced the onion in half. The thud sound from the chopping board was louder than normal because of the unexpected sharpness of the knife. But before I could continue the process, a hand lashed out at my free hand, pulling me towards him, while another moment the weapon from my hand disappeared and was now in Taewang's hand. "And what are you doing with this?" he said, keeping the knife far from my reach. I looked at him weirdly. Is he going insane or suffering from amnesia? Well, I hope it's the latter one, and he forgets everything about me. He brushed his nose with mine, bringing me back. "Where did wifey go?" he asked quite dramatically while pouting a little at the end. "Who is inside your head because of whom you forget your husband?" He knocked my head playfully while making a bigger pout. I looked at him with my thumping heart, not knowing if I should be scared of his question or relieved of his behavior. "No one," I said, keeping my hands on his shoulder to make some distance unnoticeably. But he shook his head like a stubborn brat before tugging me closer to him. "No, there's someone. You always drown in your head because of it." A light smile appeared on my lips, looking at him sulking like a kid. It's not the first time when he is asking for my attention, but it's the first time my soul isn't frightened by his demand. He smiled too, looking at my lips with his big black eyes, which held the innocence of a kid. He leaned as I drowned in his eyes, which reminded me of the person I killed a month ago. I closed my eyes when his cold lips touched my warm forehead, like my mind wanted to imprint this moment with unremovable ink. The moment when there is no fear, no threats, no lust, no love, just a pure moment. Pure from every aspect. Pure from every indecent thing. Free from every hesitation. My breaths are heavy. My heart is throbbing in every vein of my forehead like I have finally spared myself after running for miles. And, honestly, I am feeling like I stopped running after years, even when I don't know I were running. Something inside me stopped, which was there for years, which was working inside me subconsciously. For the first time, I felt very safe in someone's arms. Safe from the world. Safe from people who never liked me. Safe from the person who is holding me. I opened my eyes only to confront his big, bright eyes and even brighter smiles. His lips turned into a rectangle showing his teeth like a kid. Now that somebody is replaced by me, he said, giggling like a kid before hugging me and swinging like two kindergarten kids. Now my wifey will be only mine. Backing off, he laughed with the thought so purely, without any darkness, any hidden motives. But another second, his eyes met mine, which showed so much love, so much care. So much that a person like me doesn't deserve. My heart again picked up its forgetting pace, as it was unable to absorb every emotion his eyes were showering. "Get away, let me work," I said, breaking the trance. Stepping forward, I bent to grab the knife, but he was fast enough to take it before me. Shaking his head with wide eyes, he kept it another side out of my reach. "You won't do anything with this." I huffed internally, folding my hands. "Then how will I chop?" "I will cut for you. This can hurt you." He smiled again while pursing his lips, looking like a kid who is up to something. But another second, a scream left my mouth as he ducked down to lift me from my knees. Before I could struggle or react, he made me sit on the counter. "Until then, you take rest. I don't want my wifey tired." He again kissed my head, like telling me to think about him only. Watching him chop with a quiet smile, which is eager to turn into a brighter one the moment he glances at me from time to time, is a great experience, or more like an honorable one. Well, it's an honor when the king of the country is cooking for you. The silence is comfortable around the room with the constant sound of a blade colliding with the chopping board. I looked at him chopping the vegetables while humming happily. And somehow I saw the person whose glimpse I was noticing for the past few days. My TaeTae, the person he said died the moment I stabbed him from betrayal for no reason. They were quick moments of when an innocent child overpowered the dominant ruler of the country. When his eyes shine with happiness, then fire feels like burning him inside out. Shaking away my thoughts, for the first time in eternity I think I looked at him, not with fear, anger, or hate, but with adoration. Smiling at the bright soul which is buried underneath the darkness, but still alive. "What should I make in sweets for today?" he asked, looking at me while his hands resumed their work like a chef. "Ice cream," I said, clapping my hands happily, forgetting I was annoyed with the idea of spending time with him some time ago. "Then it will be afternoon when we will eat breakfast," he said, chuckling. "But I want to eat it," I mumbled, playing with the hem of my t-shirt, realizing it's been weeks I didn't have one. The sudden change in my life taxed me a lot, making me forget about the best stress reliever for a foodie like me. Last month changed me so much. The teenager who had nothing to do with the world except food, family, and love is now considering everything other than them. This will be the turning point of my life. The teenager is becoming a lady with responsibility of the future. Queen, the responsibility I never desired but can't deny now. Sighing heavily, I looked up to him to see he was already staring at me with unreadable emotion. I gulped, not knowing what would come now, when he cleared his throat like getting rid of whatever emotion bothered him a few seconds ago before turning towards the fridge. My body froze, with my heart thumping like it wanted to come out of my body and run as far as possible. Well, it isn't the only desire of my heart, but body too. Still, I forced myself to stay still in the place. The comfortable silence turned into stillness when he was standing in front of the fridge calmly. I just hope his mind isn't plotting some evil plan for this morning. It was going so well. Why do I have to ruin it, damn it? For God's sake, can't you keep your mouth shut, Yun? He turned around, and my heart was ready to jump out when I found more lovely calmness inside his eyes than sheer anger. I know I didn't say anything which can be the cause of trouble, but that's the thing with Taewang. He is troubled the most with the least troublesome things. We didn't break eye contact when he walked closer to me. His eyes were the relief my heart was craving from the moment he turned his back to me. But a sudden coldness on my lap forced me to look down, only to find a bucket of chocolate ice cream. My heart stopped when his hand, as cold as the bucket, grabbed my wrist and took it towards my lap. As his eyes assured me of no harm, but the memories of the night of him licking whipped cream from me are making it impossible for me to not snatch back my hand. But with labored breaths and balled hands, I let him do whatever he wants. As much as my mind tells me to fight and protect myself, still there is a hope lingering at the side of my heart, hoping he won't do it like that this time. Making my hand wrap around the bucket, he lifted my head, making me look into his calm eyes. There is nothing in this world which my queen wants and she can't get. His voice was filled with assurance. You just need to believe your king. He placed a spoon filled with icy heaven in front of my lips. And he will make your wish come true even before you realize it. He backed away before stabbing the spoon into the dessert in my lap and went to the chopping board again. Things went back to the way they were moments ago, except the silence, which isn't comfortable anymore, and my stiff body, which refused to relax, to shock with whatever happened. His switches are confusing and sometimes scary. No matter how much I try to predict his move, it never turns out the way I want. He can be soft one second and raging with anger another. His eyes light up with love, and the next moment it can be darker than a black hole. What are you, Taewang? The more I try to solve you, the more complicated you become. Eat up, baby. This poor dessert can't bear your hotness for too long. He looked at me with his teasing eyes, then giggled carelessly. A smile came on my face looking at him laughing. I wrapped a hand on the ice cream bucket possessively before tugging it close. Yeah, give it a hug, and you will drink a milkshake in place of ice cream. He smiled cheekily while flirting so boldly. Yeah, like I'm hotter than the sun, I said, defending myself. Bowing my head, I couldn't help but smile. He is behaving like a teenager lover boy who got his first girlfriend. His carefree smile and words wrapped with tease can never recite how we ended up in this forced relation. But still, giggles and not so serious bickering is always better than fights, fear and threats. Scooping a spoonful of my lovely dessert, I eat when his words again make me look at him. Well, you did what the sun failed to do in years. He shrugged slightly while still giving his whole attention to the vegetable like he didn't say anything. What? I asked, not understanding his words. Even in my wildest imagination, I had no idea what he was talking about. He looked at me with a smile that came from his heart, blooming my heart too, melting my cold heart. Dropping the knife, he walked towards me. These pure black eyes. He stepped closer. These long hairs. Your slightly chubby cheeks. Your honey-laced voice. Angelic face. He said, punctuating every sentence with a step. My mind doesn't want to believe him, but my heart absorbs his every word like a desert soil absorbs water. He stood in front of me, staring with his black-brown eyes with so much adoration that I didn't dare to look away. And at the end this, he said while placing his hand below my left collar, where he could feel my screaming heartbeat. Your golden heart is warmer than the sun, so warm that it melted my heart, taught it how to beat and live. His deep husky voice echoed in my ears, making me release a heavy breath. Hence proved my wife is hotter than the sun. He exclaimed joyfully like a jumping kid. See, I can even prove it. Another second, his finger nudged my nose and started flicking his hand like he touched a burning pan. It's burning. He screamed so loudly, I am sure his men in the hall must have heard it. Stop being dramatic, nothing happened to you, I said sternly, but next moment a smile escaped without my permission when his face became the replica of a sulking kid. I am burnt, wifey, and you're scolding me, he said, blowing his finger. It's burning. Then put it here, I said, offering the bucket with a childish giggle. He shook his head. This won't help. Then, I asked like a little innocent girl. He looked at me with his hopeful eyes. Right now he isn't the most powerful man in the country, but a kindergarten kid playing with his friend. Your breath can. He kept his finger near my lips. Won't my wifey heal me? He asked in a fake sad voice. Slightly shaking my head at his childishness, I blew it softly, and the next second he smiled brightly. See, only you can heal me, he said playfully, but somehow my heart skipped a beat with his words. I will heal you. Kai's face flashed in front of me. You are not broken. Am I capable of healing someone when I myself am shattered on the floor? He again nudged my nose and started flicking his hand again. Ouch! You! I raised my hand playfully when he started giggling like a carefree child who is living in his bright world of imagination, unaware of the darkness of reality. We both laughed like children, forgetting every worry and grudge, just living the moment, registering this amazing, memorable moment. Yes, his darkness is contagious, but his brightness is more powerful. Today, Kim's mansion is glowing even brighter because of the laughter of its owner.